Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Are schools the only way when it comes to education? Certainly not, as we will see in this week's Learning World. We will hear success stories from some who have excelled outside the usual education system. In Germany, France and the US, we have different examples of unschooling. Quitting school is normally seen as a threat to one's future. But for some, it can be the first step on the road to success. That's the case for Dale Stevens, who decided to pursue self-directed learning and is now recognized for his work as an educational futurist.
Students from all over the world descend on Berlin, not only to experience the vibrant city life, but also to graduate from one of the German capital's 3 universities. Dale J. Stevens went to Berlin from the United States and now lives in the trendy Prenzlauer Berg district. But Dale didn't come to study and then start a career. He had a different idea.
I left university because of the gap between theory and practice. The opportunity cost of going to class simply became too high. There were too many things to do outside of school, too many lines of code to write, too many emails to answer, too many conferences to be at, to justify staying in school.
So Dale started uncollege.org, a non-profit organization to promote his idea of self-directed learning. The 20-year-old is supported by the founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel. The Thiel Foundation put up 75,000 euros to help Dale get going.
I'm writing a book right now called Hacking Your Education. It's a practical guide to learning the skills that school doesn't teach, but are requisite for success in the real world. It's based on my experiences as an unschooler, but is also incorporating the stories of other people who found success in non-traditional ways.
By the time he was 11 years old, Dale's parents had allowed him to leave the classroom and try unschooling, the self-directed form of homeschooling. While his former classmates sat in school, Dale was establishing his own curriculum, taking college classes, starting businesses, living in France, working on political campaigns, and helping to build a library. In Berlin, there's a project similar to Dale's uncollege experience called Playducation, where they believe that playing is key to learning.
We're a big network of educational innovators, Dale with his Uncollege, or Stephen Harris with his Sydney Centre for Innovation in Learning, or Tiran Bossetti with her Design for Challenge movement. These are all people who interact within a huge network, exchange ideas and encourage each other to reach one goal, the educational revolution.
Dale believes there's no single big solution for educational problems. Rather, there are many small ones.
Individuals are now empowered to choose and forge their own educational paths, to pick and choose among the educational resources that are out there to create their own learning experience.
Dropping out of school can be a disaster for some, but for Dale, it seems to have been the first step towards a bright career.
The name André Stern looms large over the music world, but he never went to school. Instead, he was raised in a family which believes that passion is the perfect learning medium and the secret behind competence. Now, let's meet the Sterns.
André Stern never went to school, and he's proud of the fact. So proud that he wants his 2-year-old son to do the same. But it wasn't all plain sailing. On a military service form, he had to tick a box showing his level of education and diploma, from nursery school to university. But he didn't have any. The alternative was to tick the illiterate box, but that wasn't right either.
It made me laugh. It's been many years now that I understood there was no correct box for me, and I'm glad. I don't want to fit in any box.
His father, Arno Stern, is an education researcher who created this place called Le Clos-Lieu, or the enclosed space in Paris. Here, the 88-year-old is trying to break down what he calls the school pollution that he feels is holding children back. Youngsters of all ages come to paint, to play, without restraint, without goal, and without competition. It also gives them a chance to interact with others, which is a concern when children are learning at home.
Any learning process which follows a program is a restriction. If a child develops according to his needs, he discovers the world and should be encouraged to do so. He needs help, so you have to be with him. You must focus on what the child wants. And of course, this needs you to take part in your child's life.
Andre's son will be allowed to study whatever he's interested in, without any limits. The Stern family believes that passion is the perfect medium for learning. Andre often says that he never made any distinction between playing and learning.
When I chose to learn German for 6 hours a day, no one came to tell me after 45 or 50 minutes, "German's over, now we'll do maths or something." As a result, when you can follow your enthusiasm to the end, deeper and deeper, there's a primary side effect, which is competence.
Un premier effet secondaire de l'enthousiasme, qui est la compétence.
Andre Stern has become a well-known musician, composer and instrument maker, even though he's never had a formal music education. He says a diploma doesn't necessarily mean you're competent.
Dans beaucoup de cas, on cherche ces lacunes. Je suis pas bon en mathématiques, donc je vais faire beaucoup de maths.
A lot of the time you look for your shortcomings. I'm not good at maths, so I'll do a lot of maths to reach an average level. I'd never done that before. My experience was always to find things I was good at and to work even harder in those subjects, to become better, to become an expert and more specialized.
Encore meilleur, encore plus expert, plus spécialisé.
Andre Stern believes it's better to excel in one field than be average in everything. That's not a dogma nor a method of education. His son will be free to go to school if he wants to.
Life experience was indeed the first teacher of mankind. And for this next family, it remains their children's main source of education. In this report, we follow two kids learning different skills and always doing so according to their interests. It is a more free and fun way of learning that offers children a choice of what they learn. Let's find out more.
The dream of an endless summer can come true, especially if you're a child and you don't have to go to school. The Emersons have never sent their children to school, nor do they have a private tutor. The parents don't take the standard school curriculum and teach it to the kids at home. They've turned their back on schooling and homeschooling in favour of unschooling.
We don't use a curriculum. We follow their passions, whatever they're interested in.
Okay.
Children learn to walk, not because we teach them how to take each step. They just, learn to walk on their own. And it doesn't stop there. They have a desire to learn and grow all the time.
12-year-old Abigail learned to read and write by herself. She and her brother had to work out some aspects of maths because they need it in their everyday lives. Their parents believe that conventional schooling fails to make the most out of every child's individual abilities.
You put them all into a box, literally, an institution, a box, a school. By 6 years old, you must learn to do this. If you do not do this, you fail. And I didn't like that approach. As part of our looking at it, my wife and I, we found that, there's other ways of doing it.
You can do a lot of stuff with...
9-year-old Ethan mostly occupies himself with Playmobil, Lego and video games. The family regularly meets other unschoolers, so he does have friends. But he only knows 2 children who go to school.
We usually only go to bed early when we have to wake up early. Well, if we go to bed around 12 or 1, we usually wake up around, 10. Well, sometimes 12, but if we go to bed really late, then usually 2.
Most people think that you don't really do anything, but you're actually doing a lot. And it's not all schoolwork, but it's all there's just so much to do, so much more to do than you could do in school, and it's so much fun.
Unschooling families believe in learning as a whole life experience, not something to be divided into separate segments like maths, literature and geography. So rock climbing becomes a means to learn about physics, physical education and geology. And of course, it's a way of having fun altogether.
So, are you for or against unschooling? Share your ideas with us on our social media pages. Well, that's it for this week. Goodbye.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.